So I have a little talk today, a little some thoughts today on this thing called vision. But I want to start with a quote by Emmett Fox, and it's this. And just take a deep breath. And I don't usually read quotes this long, but I want you to listen to it. To become proficient in any field, you must practice. There is simply no achievement without practice. And the more practice, provided it is done intelligently, the greater will the proficiency be, and the sooner will it be attained. So to become proficient in any field, you must practice. So you come here on Sunday mornings, celebrate with this community, and you are part of what we call New Thought. What we teach here primarily is religious science, meaning the teachings of Ernest Holmes, which, as we all know now, means the teachings of all the great mystics of the world condensed into Ernest Holmes' understanding of it. And then we take that understanding and expand it as we read other people and understand what more there is to know in the world. So to become proficient at this doesn't mean that we come to church on Sunday and listen to it, or even go to a class to understand it. It means that we practice it. And I'd like to think that every single one of us is proficient, that we are proficient in the way we live our lives, the way we understand this teaching. Proficiency means a high degree of competence, skill, or expertise. So I want you to ask yourself today, how skilled are you at using your mind appropriately? What is your expertise when it comes to your ability to think in a way that brings your life into alignment with your highest vision? How well are you in your understanding of this teaching? So our theme is vision. So my question is, what is the vision of your life? What is the vision of your life? I so loved Tiffany's talk because she got up here and just told you her vision for herself, for her life. She didn't give you a vision of, I'm going to get this job at this time and I'm going to make this much money. I have a vision of retiring someday out there. It's not that. That's not the vision we're talking about. This is not a to-do list, and this is not a someday list. This vision is, what is the specific vision of the now moment? How do I wish to live my life, moment by moment? All we have are a sea of moments to gather up and call a lifetime. There's not one moment that deserves being lost or not spent well. So what's the vision you have for your life? How do you want to live it? And the most important question I have is this: how are you going to create it? Because that's really why we're here. How are we going to create it? Are you an expert at creating the life you want? And what causes your vision to either materialize or not? What is it that goes on in your mind, in your heart, your soul? What is it that goes on that causes whatever that vision is to either show up or not show up? It's not willy-nilly. This is not just a game. It doesn't just show up by chance. There's no such thing as chance. There's you and your mind. That's it. So what are you going to do? What's your expertise? How are you going to become proficient in not only knowing your vision, but demonstrating your vision perfectly, the way you want it demonstrated, demonstrating it from the truth of who you are? So I talked about this yesterday, last week when Dr. Jim was here, and I talked about those first 4 chapters, the thing itself, and it really goes to one of Tiffany's questions. The thing itself, when Ernest Holmes wrote that chapter, is really about understanding God in whatever way you understand it, even if you don't believe in God, which I think many in this room do not believe in God. Certainly not the God we grew up with. I don't believe in that God. I don't believe in Santa Claus in the sky, deciding whether or not I'm good or bad. We all know what he'd say. Truly. And I'm really not interested. I'm more interested in what I think and what I say. So when we talk about God, and if he writes the thing itself, really the question that comes from that first chapter is, do you know who you are? Because if we understand God as greatness on demand, and if we understand God as the energy of the universe constantly creating, and that's who and what I am, then the real question is, do you know yourself? Do you know who you are? So clearly that you are going to think from that perspective. And how do you get proficient in that? How do you stop remembering who you are by looking at your past and start remembering who you are by feeling the truth of who you are? How do you get proficient in that? Well, the answer is practice. The second chapter is the way it works. And the way it works is this. Very simply, your mind is creative. That's it. God is all there is, whatever version of that you want to call it. Energy, life, whatever. And it's creative. That's the way it works. It's creative. Every particle in your body changes every 7 years because every cell in your body replaces itself, creates something new. You think something and your body creates based on what you're thinking. Never think that anything that's going on in your body is not because of you. It is. Somewhere in you, you have activated something that is going on in your body. It's funny, I went to the dermatologist every year. I go have a full body scan, and I was perfect. This was fine. But I had these little fat cells on my forehead. No one could see them but me and Kevin. But they were just these little fat cells that were coming to the front. And I was like, what are these? And he said to me, he says, you know, it comes with age. I was like, you know what? That's not a good answer to me. I don't want to hear it comes with age. Because if I'm hearing it comes with age, you're telling me that I believe that with age, I will have fat cells on my head. And he said, and this poor dermatologist, he's like, okay, well, I will tell you what they're called. And then he gave me some scientific name, and I went, okay, fat cells on my face. So I said, well, take them off. I said, can you take them off? And I don't know if you can see them, but can you see them a little bit? Yeah. So I said, take them off. And he said, oh yeah, I can just take them off. He said, it'll be nothing. And just a little zip of it'll burn them off and they'll be gone. I said, how long is it going to last? Am I going to have any scars? He says, no, it'll look perfect. He says, it'll take a few days. Never trust a doctor when he says it'll take a few days. Because a few days to, I think, doctors is about a week or two. So it looked fine. And the next day, I looked literally like an adolescent with really bad acne. I have wanted to look young for a while now. That wasn't the look I was going for. So I just let it be what it was, but it just kept getting darker and darker. And you know how that is? You're like, is this ever going to go away? Do I now have acne for the rest of my life? It's not. It's going to be fine. Why am I bringing all this up? Because my mind, I created this. Somewhere I wasn't okay with fat cells telling me I was old. And I got invested in it. And I said, burn them off. Not thinking about the feeling of that. Because let me tell you, who's had anything burned off of anywhere on their body? Then you know. It is not easy. And he was like, I'm going to put some stuff on your forehead. It'll numb everything. No, it won't. And here's all he could say to me in the middle of it. Aren't you glad I numbed it? Imagine what it would have felt like. And I was like, that makes me happy. I'm fine. So everything that happens is a creative impulse from your mind. I'm sure those fat cells came because at some place I'm going, wow, what's going to happen as I get older? You know what? I got to stop thinking that. I got to stop buying into any concept of older. I do not want to be the result of race consciousness when it comes to age. Do you? No, then we have to eradicate it because your mind is creative. That's the way it works. The thing itself, the way it works, and then what it does, very simply, it follows the law of cause and effect. And if you haven't learned that yet, if you haven't understood that yet, today's a good day to do it. There's the law of cause and effect. What you think shows up. Period. End of sentence. You cannot escape it. You cannot pretend you didn't just think that. In fact, I know some people that actually think something, go, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do? I shouldn't think these things. Now the negativity of the judgment of what you just thought is now creating on a whole new level. So it's not about every thought you have materializes and demonstrates. It's not. It's the aggregate of what you use your mind to think. Where do you think most of the time? So that's what it does. And then how to use it is spiritual mind treatment. So the title of my talk today is not that. The I ams have it. The I ams have it. And this is a picture by Laura Wagner. She goes to the beach and constantly puts these things on the beach for people to just see. That's kind of her ministry. I am that I am. So the I ams have it. So it's very difficult these days to have conversations or to hear conversations and not have someone mention impeachment. And I thought it would be important to read what impeachment actually means. The act of calling into question the integrity or validity of something. So what's going to happen in the Senate is exactly what happens in your mind every single day. Seriously. What's going to happen in the Senate, take away all political aspects of this, is that, as it says here, someone is going to sit, listen, and make a decision based on the integrity and based on whether this is something to remove someone from a position. That's as simple as this gets. Forget about politics, forget about Republicans, Democrats, trumpets. It's a good one. I like that. Trumpists, because as someone reminded me the other day, they told me they are a Republican, but not a Trumpist. And we should stop trying to think that everybody who's Republican is for Donald Trump. And I said, thank you for correcting me on that. But all I'm saying is, wherever anybody lands on the spectrum, our job is to stand in neutral position and see and hear what we hear. So that's what's going on in your mind. Every single day, some idea in your mind is about to be impeached. Think about it. Every desire you have, every project you have, every decision you are about to make, you are either going to impeach it and remove it or acquit it and allow it. Either way. So truthfully, the ayes have it. The ayes, A-Y-E-S, the ayes have it. What you say yes to demonstrates. That's as simple as it is. However, I wanted to change it around a little bit to the I ams have it. Because the truth is, every single day you're also putting something after those two words, I am. And we always talk about if you're going to say I am happy, then you're going to be happy. If you're going to say I am poor, you're going to be poor. If you say I am challenged, you're going to be challenged. If you say I am success, whose word is success? Reverend Joyce. Then I am success. That's why we pick words in mental muscle, because you pick a word and you're done. That's it. She is unshackled. That's it. My word is balance. I chose the word balance, so I decided to balance my face, apparently. But you pick a word, and that's it. The I ams have it. But what I really got, it's not just what you say yes to. It's who is saying yes. The I am. Not just I am what. It's not just what comes after that word that matters. It depends on the power of the I am that is saying it. So what is your vision of life? What have you decided your vision of life is? And what is your spiritual practice? What are you going to decide and agree to be proficient in? You have to start with the I am. You have to start with who you are. Because frankly, what this quote really means, the I ams have it, whatever you decide you are, whoever you decide you are, wherever you decide you are, as Tiffany said in the way she grounds herself, the answer to those questions, that's what has it. If you see yourself as less than, you can say, I am amazing, but you're only going to be as amazing as the power of that I am. Do you know who you are? At the end of the day, that's all that matters. That is all we are doing here. I hope more and more of you will come and join us on Saturdays when we do Welcome Home. Because let me tell you, yesterday, after 6 hours, Eric and I were both saying this, after 6 hours, and we do every class, of just being in this room and experiencing this philosophy, not just talking about it, living it, experiencing it, using our bodies, actually getting into what this teaching's about. That's what Welcome Home is about. Right? You were here all day too. So, that's what it's about. That's the spiritual practice. I am going to be so much more proficient because we came up with this idea of welcome home, I walk out of here on a Saturday and I feel like I have just gotten a jolt of energy. I'm not tired. I'm like, oh my God, bring it on. Right? Thank you. So that's the question today. If the I ams have it, and if everything that you think about yourself is demonstrating in the world, then everything matters in terms of what you think about yourself and who you know yourself to be. That is the work. That is the spiritual practice. That's what Emmett Fox says we need to practice every day. Knowing who we are and not letting go of that, no matter what. No matter what the world may say, no matter what shows up in our lives, there's a lot of stuff that you may have already created that's probably demonstrating or may demonstrate tomorrow or the next day. Doesn't matter. You can look it right square in the face and say, I know you, I know where you came from, and that's not who I am anymore. And so it is. Done. It's not what's happening. It's how do you relate to what's happening. And it's not even how do you relate to what's happening. It's who's doing the relating. If you can stand in the power of yourself, if you can stand in the truth of the I am, no matter what is going on in your life, and if you can allow God, or whatever you want to call it, to speak as you because it is you, and stop separating yourself from all the good there is to have in this world. Stop separating yourself from everything that this world implies and start joining it all to understand you are the oneness of it all. I am the ocean. I am the sky. I am the mountains. I am the snow as it falls down. I am the flowers and the bees. I am all of it. That's everything that I am. And I am one with all of it. It touches me. I touch it. There's no place where I end and you begin. We are the one. When I can get there, when I can stay there, when I can know this is who I am, and then everything that comes at me from any direction, I can say, I am that I am. Now, what do I need to know? From there, then, and only then, can the I ams have it with no interference whatsoever. So that's our work, to let ourselves be especially concrete in knowing who we are, and then live our lives from there. Then just take your vision and live it, because there's going to be nothing that can stop you from it. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.